Howdy folks, Gerbo here, and it's the evening of day 9 here, late summer, and we're ready to get some wheat in. It's going to be probably a pretty quick episode. Just going to get started here. We've got the same TC590 that I bought last season, and we'll use that and then we'll return it. I had to take out a small $30,000 loan just to cover this because I have been buying new equipment and upgrading stuff here and there, so it's just a little bit short. But we're going to get that all back and get the loan paid back just as soon as we're done with the harvest. I've got the semi-tipper up at the other end of the field, up there by the silage bales, staged and ready to go. So let's hop in. And I'm going to take a couple passes here off this end of the field. Open that up. And then we'll start back and forth. And this will be our straw for the next probably couple years. See how fast we go through it with 100 cows. If you happen to miss the last episode, we are up to 100 cows now, and we've got the hay and silage, I think, and straw to make that through the year. After I get done with this wheat harvest, I will be getting in some more hay and grass to get a jump start on next year, but we're looking good. We got 100 cows, and we're going to start being profitable here, that I'm not making crops that I don't make any money on. The milk every 2-3 days, got a trailer full of milk to sell, and that gets me about 20 grand. So it's starting to get profitable. The cows cost about 2 grand a day in upkeep costs. It's just the way a farm sim works. But they make about 6,000 or 7,000 a day. I haven't done the exact math, but we're netting something like 4,000 or 5,000 a day from the cows. So they are paying for themselves. It's weird it's not lit up right, but it is working. That's all that matters. Get us a little bit of a headland opened up here. I know last year I harvested from the cab, so we're going to do it from outside this time. Just for something different. We had some rain and actually a little bit of hail yesterday. But the crop is dried out today. I had to wait for most of the day for that to get dried up. And then if we check the forecast here, we got a whole nother day of sunshine. So we're looking good for harvest. Not looking so good for driving straight. Cruise set up here, and we'll just cruise on down the field. Still no GPS. It's TC590. This should be the exact same setup I had last season. Although I switched around a lot last season, but what I settled on last season was this TC590. 258 horsepower. It's plenty for getting around. Doesn't have the biggest header in the world, but it gets the job done. Slowly but surely gets the job done. What's your RPMs looking like? Not too bad. Something I learned recently I didn't know. And I've been using gearbox forever. Let's just turn this off real quick. You can adjust, if you have a CVT, you can adjust the fixed ratio. I never played with that. So it lets you set the ratio so you get max revs at whatever speed you want to go. So if I pull up the store page here, take a look at this header, which is this guy. Speed is 7 miles an hour is what it's designed to operate at. So if I use shift plus minus, the plus minus on the main keyboard by the backspace, I could bump this up to 7 miles an hour. And that should give us like max engine revs at that speed. I'm going to bump my cruise to 8 just to make sure we're maxing it out. So I think the RPMs are drawn down because of the header being worked. So that doesn't seem to make a lot of difference. I have noticed it though on the tractors. You can keep those RPMs up by setting the fixed ratio. So, there you go. The more you know. Shift plus minus on the CVT transmission using the gearbox mod will let you adjust the fixed ratio. So, I wonder, I haven't really played with that, but it's kind of experimenting here. Because I got nothing better to do besides harvest wheat. Put the handbrake on. Now if I turn that off, and I bring the hand throttle all the way up, I can see with the shifting of the ranges, now my oh, I see my fixed ratio says 7.7, but I've got to put the hand throttle up. So if I bring that back to, let's call it 7 miles an hour. Now if I turn the header back on, now this is interesting, the fixed ratio is changing based on the load, I guess, that the combine is under. You can see it, we're going 4, we can't quite get up to speed because of the work that the combine's doing. But it is keeping the revs up higher using the hand throttle. So that's kind of interesting. I'm going to go ahead and take some passes off this into the field and we'll get tipped over into the semi. So I don't think for the combine that fixed gear ratio makes too much of a difference, but I have used it on the tractor doing field work and it was kind of interesting. It would keep the tractor revs up. Alright, let's get this guy turned around. Should have stopped there and let the straw come out, and I forgot to do that. That hand throttle up, I gotta use the brakes. We're constantly going. So we're 80% full. I gotta keep an eye on this, but I wanted to get a headland up at this end of the field as well. So I think I'll come across here a few times. I'm gonna actually stop this time. Let the straw finish. There we go. Take another cut off here and then we'll tip into the semi. So it seems like about 4 is the limit based on the load harvesting the wheat. I'm gonna put this back in just normal mode. And I put that truck in the wrong spot, didn't I? Once we have more room, that will probably work. Am I gonna miss the truck? I am not. Let's back up. This thing gets a little front heavy once it's got some grain in it. So we're actually gonna back up to the truck because I didn't stage it very well. Didn't do a very good job backing up either. It's just tall enough. There we go. Now we can tip in there. Get wheat put in. So there we have it. We're going to get a field 1 and then the little bit of field 2 harvested. And then we're pretty much ready for winter. I got a little bit more done on field 4. Just a little bit. If we look over here at cultivated. I had a little bit of time before the wheat was ready, and I got this little bit here cultivated. We still have a lot of cultivating to do on field 4. Don't know that I'll ever plant there again, but I thought I'd get cultivating done just in case. Alright, we are empty. We're ready to head back down. I think I might head down this side of the field. Just for something different. And off we go. So, I think I'll call it here. It's going to be, like I said, a little bit shorter episode. Not a whole lot going on, just getting the weed in. And then I'm going to bale up some straw. So I will catch you in the next one. As always, thanks for watching, and take care.